Hello and welcome to another episode of the Head in the Game podcast. Today we are joined by Shane Taaffe. Shane is an opposition analyst for Larne FC in the NIFL, and Shane is also the son of Harry Taaffe, former Dundalk videographer, who tragically passed away in 2020. Harry's passing was the catalyst for the formation of Head in the Game, and Shane's been a guest we've been looking to get on for a long time. He's been ducking and diving me as much as he can, but finally managed to wrangle him in to have a chat. A little bit about Harry, but also about Shane's own career and the path that he's taken in football. Shane, how's it going, pal?
Not too bad, Pingo. How are you, bud? How you keeping?
Not too bad. That was I tried to do you a little bit of justice with that there.
Tried your best anyway, but I don't think it's going to work out for you. You failed miserably already.
That's it, exactly. Well, look, Shane, we're going to kind of dive straight in. So one thing that we always ask our guests is kind of about how they got into football and their upbringing and things like that. And I know you obviously played in the Dundalk Schoolboys League, and you played you played at the Kennedy Cup that a lot of our guests have played in. So do you want to kind of just take over and tell everybody that's listening a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically, from what I can remember anyway, I was only about, let's say, about 5 or 6. And it was actually my cousin Carl. He was playing it was like a wee schoolboys tournament. I think it was like they were on their 8s or 9s or something, so it was. And they were a couple of years ahead of me anyway. And I went down to watch the tournament anyway. Me and Harry went down to watch the tournament anyway. And can we kick about supposed to be myself? And they turned around and asked, I think they were stuck with players or something. And it must have been asking to play, fuck's sake. But no, so so asking they wanted to talk and have a wee kick about. So done that there, and it just took from straight that there. Like I was like I said, I was only young, playing with a lot of the boys older than me, which I'd basically done for the majority of my schoolboys days. It was only until I was about, I'd say probably about 13 maybe, the year of the Kennedy Cup, that I actually started playing my own actually age group. I was always playing a year or two above myself. Went through that there. I was playing with Rangers here in Dundalk, and then I went to Shamrocks, local team, kind of a bit of a derby that there would have been, like the two teams kind of would have been rivals type of thing. But like I went to school in De La Salle. A lot of my mates then obviously played for Shamrocks. It was just one of the things that I felt that I wanted to do. Just go to change a bit of a change up, like, because Rangers kind of come back years ago, it would have been, I'm sure you know yourself, it would have been a good strong outfit around the town, like, but kind of towards my 13 years, 12, 13, they kind of fizzled out, so they did, and the teams just weren't there anymore to play. So, like I said, I went jumped down. I had a few of my mates were asking me to go down and play with Shamrock, so I did that, so I did. Then obviously, before, it was like the year before, went to Shamrocks, was with the Kennedy Cup team. Went down there, that was my first crossing of El Pinga. We bumped each other in a medical room.
Yeah.
Shock, I was in a medical room.
Yeah. I must have been looking for the sweet shop, was he?
I think he took the wrong turn, yeah. So then I played with Shamrocks then, and then I think I was 16, about 16 years of age, and then I signed for Woodview, a team that obviously would have been very close to the family. Like, my dad was a founder member, Harry was a founder member of Woodview, so my uncle Kevin, who would have been a massive part in the most recent years, he passed away in the last couple of years as well. Like, but so it was good to get involved there. I went up with Wayne Connery with reserves, kind of 16 years of age. I kind of didn't know what I was getting myself involved with men's football, like absolutely playing schoolboys football. I was still playing schoolboys football at that stage, like, and then I got involved with the reserves with Woodview. And just took from there then, and kind of just took the step away then for my last year or two in schoolboys, and just focused on kind of the senior aspect of things then in with Woodview, like, and then kind of just took from there really, and so it wasn't too bad type of thing, like.
Yeah, it's interesting, because obviously, as you say, our first kind of interaction was down in the Kennedy Cup, and Harry and the Taaffe family would have grew up with my family back in Dundalk too, with my father and stuff, and it was always interesting that my first real recollection of Harry would have been, and the Taaffe family actually would have been, doing stewards up in Oriel Park around the time when I was working as kit man and I was community coach at the time, and probably one of my favourite memories of Harry was there was a game against Shamrock Rovers, and I think there was a riot breaking out, and Harry just had this knack of defusing any situation. And I think there was 3 Shamrock Rovers fans trying to hop the wall in Oriel Park, and Harry just used one arm just to keep the ball at bay, you know. But yeah, so obviously, you know, I'd be very close with your family from the time of 2012 when Dundalk almost went out of business. Myself and your sister Orla, who were founder members of the Save Our Club group at the time, and Harry got involved not long after we established, and that would have been would that have been the time, Shane, that you would have got involved with Dundalk FC? And would you tell everyone kind of how that happened and how you got working behind the scenes in Oriel?
So basically, like you said, 2012, don't get me wrong, like I would have been up kind of younger when I was a kid and stuff like that there. But like I wouldn't have been as much into kind of League of Ireland and with Dundalk as until about 2012. Well, probably would have been a year or two before that. Like I got my first season ticket and stuff like that there. Like got more kind of interest again. But 2012 was when the main kind of interest got involved. Well, like you were saying, it was one of them things that like that it was done. Believe me or not, it was something stupid. So it was Harry went away and he bought a camcorder, and he just asked the boys could he just use it up because like you said he was security, like he just asked could he record the training session one day. So like that's grand. So like McCaffrey was like he didn't I'm not too sure which he was, but analysis or video and all that, but he didn't really pass too much from off. So I mean only really then when Stephen Kenny came in then. But my involvement then kind of got more involved in 2012 when, like you said, the Save All Club, when we were doing the fundraising, the bag packing over in Dunstores and Cox's, we were kind of doing other wee bits and pieces like that there. Like that's when I kind of got more familiarity with it. Like, like that's kind of goes because I think because I felt part of it, something like that there that kind of saved. You know, obviously I didn't save the club, but I was kind of part of something that did. Like, so I think then obviously then going forward, then I think it was something that obviously that like, because it was local interest, kind of got a wee bit older, and my interest in football was always England and stuff. But then when you've got it closer to home, how good football is here, like. So then it was the next year. Then when Stephen Kenny came in, Stephen then obviously found out Harry had the camera. He arrived up and he seems like what's going on with this camera fella here, like. But so Kenny asked him would he mind recording the games, and you know yourself, Harry wasn't the most techie person, like, so he's like, will you give me a hand here, help me how to zoom in and do this and that here. So I kind of went up and kind of let him get a feel of things, give him a hand out that there. But but then it just rolled from that there because Stephen then asked him, but then we do a full time, like, but do all our games from like, so then I kind of took an interest as well, like, so like Harry would kind of, back then we first started off, like Harry would kind of record the first half, and then when it came to half time, he used to go with Singly and get his wee curry chip or his wee 3-in-1, whatever, like, and then he used to have the wee roll-ups and then roll his flag, and then I'd take over the camera and do like the first probably 10-15 minutes until he got himself relaxed again, like. So that was kind of my first interest in that there, like. And then obviously everybody's well known at this stage with Stephen Kenny, how him and Harry were so close, like. Stephen used to always come down to the house to watch the games, and he used to arrive in some nights at fucking 8 o'clock, like, and not least at 3 o'clock in the morning, like. He just watched that many games. And Harry, like, he was like, he wouldn't know too much information for football, like he could talk about football, but he wouldn't know too much in depth about football. He used to call me up, like, he'll just sit down and Stephen ask something, at least then you can answer and stuff like that. If he asked by the player, or it's good, it's good old banter. So it was like, but that's how I kind of really rolled with the whole Dundalk. So it is, I kind of got involved in through that there, like. And the more the years progressed, and I kind of got more involved doing other wee things. So like, we used to use 2 cameras then at like different points of the ground to pick up different angles of the game. Like we were using wee GoPros, putting them behind the nets and for like set piece of corners and stuff like that. To see how the movement of the runners would do. Then we went on to kind of using a laptop then and kind of tagging the game, like. Whereas nowadays you have like the likes of Huddle, you have Wisecout and stuff like that there. Like we used to just do it manually through the game. We used to plug it into the laptop and then I used to sit there and tag the game through that there of anything that we needed, and then obviously whatever Stephen needed after the game, then was able to go straight to him. And then there was a couple of occasions that we would get stuff to the bench them straight away, like as well. Like we were just trying different things that, you know, like you said, you know, Harry used to just love gadgety stuff, like so like he was trying different stuff nearly every week. So he was. So that's kind of how I got involved, and then kind of got stuck into it then.
Yeah, I always was a little bit jealous because I left when the club was at its lowest ebb, and you come in and took all the glory then for the glory years. But no, I just going back really quickly to save our club. One of my favourite memories of Harry was I don't know if you remember that he got the 1,000 keys. He done a fundraiser, pick your box. It was, you put your hand in, you pick the key out, and if you unlock the box, you won $1,000. But we had no grand if anybody won it. And we said to Harry, we said to Harry, what happens if somebody picks out the right key? And he says they won't. And we said, why is that, Harry? He said, because it's in my back pocket. He pulled it out of the back pocket. I still think that's still unopened to this day, you know. But
I think it's just still sitting, because actually before I left Dundalk, I remember walking around Oriel, and I was just looking through wee pigeonholes and stuff like that there, and I actually seen it sitting in one of the back rooms. Like, I'm just all the memories came back. I was like, oh, here.
Yeah,
it was like the mess we used to do with that there. Like,
oh, it was a great time. It was a great time. It was a tough time for the club, but it was a great time, wasn't it? Just as you say,
for the community and stuff, for the crack and stuff like that there. Do you remember that night that they done the like, see who could open the box? Like, he arrived in with the turkey.
Yeah, exactly. Live turkey, wasn't it? Yeah.
It got running amok around Oriel.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
We'll go mad at him. He didn't go.
No, crazy times. I am, but look at it, Shane. It's obviously it's plain to see that yourself and your father developed a bond during that time in Oriel. You know, you spent a lot of time together. You travelled around Europe, you know, pretty much together. How was that time with your father? You know, to be able to do that and be able to have those experiences.
Yeah, to be fair with you, Finger, like it was one of them things that, like, before that we started that little adventure, like, that was something that you never dream in a million years of happening. Like, Dundalk, like, traveling, like, they might have gotten to the odd fucking first qualifying round or something like that there, like, but like, it wasn't something that was very, very popular. Like, but to get the chance to, like, to go through some of the places like that we've gone through, like Baku, Bratislava, like, you can name loads of the top, you know what I mean? Like, it was that, like, the memories that we had, like, but like, what made it better, like, it was memories with him, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
don't get me wrong, like, I know that we've done a lot of stuff around Dundalk and other wee bits and pieces that he used to get me involved with him with, but like, because he knew how much I love football and how much he loved football as well, like, it was like, it's hard to put in words how unbelievable of experience that it was. And like I said, they do with him, and then, like, obviously winning them league titles, be part of that team, the one league titles, like I said, the medals sitting up there, like, of like FAI Cup medals, League Cup medals. There's a Satanta Cup medal there, I think, as well. I know it's runners up one, but like, it's all kinds of a President's Cup one. No, I just loads of like, damn memories that, like, that's when I last a lifetime. Like, I know, like, obviously my last year in Dundalk, we'd got to, like, it was the group stages. Not that I was down my own, like, but Harry wasn't out with me this time, like, and I could walk around the Emirates and stuff like that there, and you're thinking, like I shouldn't be walking around the Emirates, you know what I mean, kicking the ball in the pitch, kicking the ball in the net and all that there, like, but like, and you kind of look back and think, like he be in his glory, he'd be doing this here, like, this would be something that, like, he was always striving for me to get involved in. Like, he was always trying to get me involved in the club somehow, if it was helping him or trying to do something different, like you said, go use a different camera, get different angles, stuff like that there, like, yeah, but no, like, some of the memories you have, like, I'll never forget, like, that the night we played Cork. I think we won the first league that year. We were put into the stand, and we weren't let into the gantry because that's what RTE was. When RTE was there, they would never let us go into the beside them. Like, we were sitting there, and when we went up, like, when we felt like that we were going to win, when I think it was Garth scored the goal, the two of us just grabbed each other, and like, we were celebrating, but we were there to do the kind of a job, you know what I mean, like, to record the game and get the footage of Stephen and all that there, like. And like, it was kind of one of them things that, like, we kind of grabbed each other, and he was kissing me in the cheek and stuff like that there, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't one of them things that like, you'd never expect to happen, like him getting kind of, because, you know, Harry, like, he was a big tough man, but he's really a softie, like Like to see him getting a bit emotional over something like that there because the two of us are celebrating and doing it together. Like it was always crazy. Like it was unbelievable. Like that's what I mean. Like it was like memories for last a lifetime. That what we done with like the ventures we went through with Dundalk and like all that kind of stuff. Like
it's just been amazing to see it, you know, and it was amazing to see you and Harry go through it as well. And as you say, I'm sure that night in 2014 and some of the other times throughout the years, it was kind of, I know from looking from the outside in, it was being involved in that not heading the game, sorry, but being involved in Save Our Club is one of the reasons, because we didn't save the club, but as you said earlier, but we played a role in kind of building that community spirit back up, you know. So I think there's that added kind of emotional attachment, isn't there, to the success? But I'm going to move on a little bit here, Shane. Obviously, you've just spoke about the highs of the highs that you had during your time at Dundalk, and you've done a podcast with the press box late last year, around the time I think it was of Harry's first anniversary. And you spoke a little bit about your own mental health struggles, and one of the reasons obviously we do this podcast is we want people to understand that you can be riding on this crest of a wave of success, but you're still human at the end of it all, you know. So I think it'd be good, and as long as you're happy to do so, just to talk a little bit about your own mental health struggles even during that time.
Yeah, like to be honest with you, it was kind of going something like I didn't realize what mental health was, or depression or anxiety, any of this kind of stuff was. Like you always knew about it, but you didn't know who had it or what actually felt like. Like I probably wouldn't have never talked to anybody or spoke to anybody about it only for Harry. Like me and him sat in a room with and he kind of broke down and told us about his struggles, and we went through. Like this was a man who was in his 50s, like, and he was telling us that he suffered with mental health from he was 14, he said, like, and it's something that we never knew, or we never. And then I kind of broke down. I was like, wait a minute, this is how I feel. This is the way things have gone for me. And he was like, I kind of looked at his face, kind of seen the shock in his face and he's like, I don't want you to go through the pain and suffering I have for all them years. I want to get you the best help that I can to get you back on the right track. He's like, I kind of had a feeling that sometimes that like you were kind of down or you weren't yourself for that, but I never wanted to question you about it because I didn't know which way you're going to react or something like that there. But it's like I can get in kind of a sense because like obviously being a teenager like that there, hormones be all over the place, and there's more times that like you be effing off, go away if you don't want to talk to you, like, so. But like maybe like if we had it spoke about it earlier about his struggles, maybe it wouldn't have taken as long as it did to get my own mental health kind of figured out and get the whole meaning of it. But I'll never forget, like, he took me to see a counsellor therapist, and I had him for a couple of sessions, and every time that I went to him I was kind of feeling worse than what I should have been, like, and like it wasn't sitting right with him. But like he was like he just kept on saying, like, are you sure this is working? But like I didn't know what was working, what wasn't working, you know what I mean? I never gone through, never spoke to anybody, I never heard of anybody speaking to a counsellor or therapist or whatever before in that there, like, so I thought coming out that it was working. Well, he thought himself as well that it wasn't working from the way I was coming out, like. And then I'll never forget the night that he told me, the counsellor told me, he was like, from speaking the last couple of weeks and kind of assessing you, he's like, you suffer really bad with depression, anxiety. But like it was the way that he said it. That it wasn't just like he didn't beat around the bush about it, and it kind of took me back, kind of shocked me, and kind of Harry was sitting there as well, me, and he was like, he was shocked as well from the way that it was. And then I was talking to a mental health doctor, a proper doctor in Crosslanes, not long before Harry died. I'll touch on more on that there later on. But like even he was very surprised the way that it was told, like the way I was told and how it was broken down to me. Like he was like this is a trained professional, and he's trying to tell someone for the first time hearing his own struggles, his own problems, and like the way that he's just blunt about it. He's like, if this is profession, like he's like, how did he get where he is today? Like, and he was very disappointed. And Harry was like, yeah, look, listen, I fully get like I was shocked the way that he did as well. Like, but like I said, yeah, like maybe that if we had spoke about it earlier, through Harry telling us about his struggles, his problems, that I'm not saying that things would be different now. Like, I'm not saying that at all. Like, but like I could have probably understanding it about mental health a lot quicker. Like, I even when I broke down, before I broke down, sorry, but when I said it, when we discovered that, like, about me and Harry did, when we sat in the room that day, like I felt like that I was still kind of embarrassed to say it to anybody, or if I was going to see the therapist or my counsellor that day, I like people going, "Where are you going?" I'd be embarrassed to say it to them, like, you know what I mean? Like, there was only like a very, very few people that knew about it at the time, like, but then when obviously the more things got going, and obviously with Harry dying and stuff, you just realize it's not to be embarrassed about. You know what I mean? It's one of them things that, like, a lot of people go through it. Everybody has their down days. Some people just go through it tougher than what others, longer than others. But like, it was just kind of from Harry past that I kind of realized that it's one of them things that I'm never gonna be afraid to talk about. I'm not gonna be afraid. Like, I'm not gonna shy back of what I went through. Like I told you, like I'd be open book about it. I literally said, and I talk to anybody about it. I'd be happy to talk about anybody with it. Like, but like, hopefully, like even after I done the last podcast with James and the boys, the amount of text messages I got from people that, like, I would never expect them. The people that text me, and like I got great praise for, like, but it wasn't that one of the things that I was looking for praise for. I was trying to get out of, like, my story, my dad's story, kind of just to tell people, like, it's normal. It's not one of these things that, like, you should be afraid of, you should be ashamed of. Open up, talk to someone about it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of one of the main reasons why I did James. Like I knew I was always going to do yours at one stage, because you tortured me for a CD for long enough. Like, but like with James, it was kind of just one of them things that, like, look, break the duck, try and get out of the way. Like with you, like, me and you are very close, we would be. Where James, I just know him through Dundalk and stuff like that. There, like, top man, so he is, like, that's why he goes, I'll get me first out of the way, and I'll take from there, see how things are going. Like, but like I said, it was like, it wasn't like looking for praise, or it wasn't looking for what do you call it? I can't think of the word now. I'm not looking for people to feel sorry for me, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's literally my story, my father's story, type of thing. Trying to get people awareness and look the bigger picture, like.
Yeah, I think you've just kind of hit the nail on the head with that. You know, it's not a sign of weakness to open up and be honest and say, look, I'm struggling, no matter how big or small the problem is. Because I saw actually a quote online today where it's, you know, someone said opening up about your mental health struggles is a sign of weakness, and it's scratched out, and then it says it's a sign of strength, which it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it.
We live in a society where that's the stigma, right? You know, that if you're open and honest, it is that sign of weakness, but it shouldn't be. And hopefully through the work ahead in the game and other organizations, that we're going to hopefully change that. And I think this conversation is going to change that too. You know, the more, like we spoke offline about me talking about my own struggles over the past year and online, and I think that, you know, the more people that, like myself, yourself, other guests we've had on this, that will be open about their struggles in life, I think it creates a more open world, right? A more open, there's a more of an open conversation around different topics and about our struggles, and we can all help each other. You know, that's the, as I say, from what you've just said, I think that's one of the most important things for anybody listening, maybe to just take away from that. And Shane,
no,
look,
but like you said,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, before you said that, like, it's like, that is something that, like, that, don't get me wrong, like, I'm like, I'd be quiet, I'd be shy the whole lot. Like, I'm not like the way you use love. I don't think he's love the attention, stuff like that. There, like, you love trying to help people, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it was great to see you starting something like this here. Like, it's crazy. Like he's had the armbands, he's had the PFA young player. You know what I mean? Like, it's great to see so much that's happening for you that just are done. Like it's crazy. Like the awareness that you have done yourself, like through your group, like, and it's something that I hope to see continues, not just this year or next year, but going down the line. Like hopefully that like it sees you becoming a bigger group, spreading bigger, like get more people involved. Just like, and it's unbelievable to see because like when you see like stuff like you just putting your podcast up or you just putting anything up at all, it's great to see the reaction that's you're getting. Like I know like mental health is nothing to be laughing about, but like it's like the amount of people that you see opening up and thanking you for like opening up people's eyes to get an understanding of what's going on. Like,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Shane. And look, unfortunately, it took Harry's passing for something like this to kind of kick off. But if you want, like you just mentioned there a few minutes ago that you were in Cross Lanes a week or two before Harry's passing. If you don't mind sharing maybe a little bit about that, and also about about Harry's passing as well, and just that whole period of time.
yeah, so like it was a strange time that like because like I got feeling myself kind of getting into a slump, but when I get into slumps, I get like it's a couple of days and then I can then pick myself back up or try to keep myself occupied. But you know yourself during lockdown stuff like that, there was hard because you weren't allowed to go past your 2 kilometers and stuff like that. There like there was nowhere open, there was nowhere like you couldn't go watch a game of football, you couldn't do stuff like that. There like so like I was living out on my own, so was, and I just woke up that morning. I think it was just airing. It was like I think it was just a build up of airing that it kind of turned into like it started off like the only way that I can describe it is it started off as like a snowflake and then it turned into a whole snow family. Like you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
had everybody there at the party. Like it was a, like I woke up that morning and I just couldn't. My anxiety was through the roof. I couldn't settle at all. I was on the phone to Shannon and my girlfriend. I was asking her to pick me up. She picked me up, and she was like, "Are you all right?" And I literally like I jumped into the car beside her, and I had my dog with me. I had my dog the arm, but like I was that much worked up and that much my head just wasn't feeling right. Like I closed the door on the dog's tail and then took the poor dog's tail off him. Like I just like and I just couldn't. Shannon was like, "Shane, the dog." I was like, I can't focus. Like, and then we got outside the house. Was this was about I'd say you're talking was about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. We got outside my mom and dad's house, and then I just walked down to the back of the kitchen. I sat down on the sofa, and then just bang, the waterworks started. And like looking back, then like I didn't real not obviously I knew that it was bad that what I was going through and how I felt. Like looking back now, like it was tough. Like, and I'm hoping that I never get into that kind of state again. Like, because it was tough. Like, because like I was sitting there bawling my eyes out. I mean, full tears for hours and hours. Not I couldn't stop. Like I sat there and I cried in front of my mom, my dad, my girlfriend. Like, and I like the thing about the thing was I didn't feel embarrassed about it. I didn't because like I needed it. Like I said, yeah, it was a snowball effect. It started off a snowflake and just rolled with that there. You know what I mean? Like it was horrible. And I remember like Harry was like, no, I can't see him like this here. I can't. I know this isn't my Shane, so it isn't. This isn't my son. And we jumped into his van, and it was about 11 o'clock. Then when we got into the van, took him to Cross Lanes, and there's like these like gates, like electric gates that takes you onto the premises, like. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in the van, and like, I think I'm not lying, from my ride to my house that morning until probably you're talking about a full probably 12 hours. I was in tears. Like I could not stop crying. I kept on saying sorry. I was like, what are you saying sorry for? Like there's nothing to be sorry about. Like as I can't stop crying, and like, look, that's grand. Don't worry. Like we'll get this sorted for you. Don't worry. Blah blah blah. So we arrived up. My dad, he went into the reception, and the security came out, and all that they were worried about was how we got past the gates, the security gates. It wasn't how's your son? Is he okay? What can we do to help? It was how we got past the security gates. Someone let the gates open, like, but that was the biggest question was how did you get past security gates? Like, And I was like, he was like, look, to stay the way my son is in my van. Like the chap, he needs help, and they wouldn't, nobody would see me. Nobody would see me, and so we drove home, and they're like, you had to get a letter of your doctor. So got on to my doctor, GP. He gave me a letter to go up then, and we got there. We drove back up, and we sat there from about, I'd say it was probably about 12:30 in the afternoon. By the time we got back up, got the letter and the whole lot, like, and we sat there, and over the like I was still in a bad state. Like I said, yeah, I couldn't stop crying. I don't know how many tear ducts cope, like, but we were sitting there, and we gave the letter in, and I was sitting there. I'd say I wasn't seen. I wasn't seen until about 9-10 o'clock that night, sitting outside, and like I was I'd say I was driving Harry silly. But obviously, with him suffering his own mental health and stuff like that, there, like he understood of what was going on and how things were, and like he was trying to like talk to me and try and calm me down, but like there was just no hope in it. Like there was just nothing that was happening. Like, and like, all I could think about was just, that's it. This is my last day here. Like, that I can't do this no more. Like I just couldn't, physically, mentally, I could not do it. Like, and then went in. When we finally got in to see the doctor, he turned around to me and he was like, "Do you want to come in on your own?" I was like, "No, I want to take my dad in with me." Like I was like, I want time being here, because you know yourself, when you're in them states and you don't know like what's going on, or you don't know what's left or right type of thing. Like, so I wanted him to come in, because you know the way he was, he had a fresh head, he knew everything. Like, so it was just the fact of getting him in, just to hear, let him hear what was being said and how they thought things were. But like, we were sitting there, and the doctor started asking questions. I was answering them, like still in the middle crying, like still crying, like, and we were sitting there. He was asking the questions, and my dad, there's one of the things that I don't think I'll ever forget. Like, my dad turned around, like Harry turned around and was like, "Do you think this is my fault?" And the doctor was like, "What do you mean is your fault?" And he's like, do you think, like, is this, I'm going to pronounce this wrong completely, I'm going to say this word completely wrong, like, hereditary, no, like, kind of passing through the genes, like
Hereditary, isn't it? Hereditary.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he's like, do you think that I pass this on to him? Like, I was like, no, this would just coming through stuff that would happen in his childhood, growing up, stuff like that. There, like, he's like, this would have nothing to do with you, but that always played in his mind that was something that he passed down to me, like. And we were sitting, like I said, we were sitting talking a whole lot, and we told him that I was seeing someone, and he asked me how I find that, and I was like, look, to be honest, yeah, like I don't know, because I never heard anybody seeing someone talk to someone before. I don't know if it's working or not, but all I can say is that anytime I left him, I felt worse than before I went in. Like, he's like, no, that shouldn't be happening. Like, and then that's when Harry goes, "Oh, can I ask you a question? Like, which way, like, if you're explaining to someone of what they suffer with, what they're going through and stuff, how would you come across and say it?" Like, and he kind of goes, "Okay, well, I'll say this, that, and the other, whatever." And we told him to which way that I was told, and he was like that's not, like, that's terrible. Like, he's like, that's it, meant to be a trained professional that's telling you this. Like if he's telling you that there, the way he's telling you, like what hope have you got? Like, I was like I was so disappointed. Like I was shocked myself. Like, I literally, he goes, like, Harry's around me. He's like, I went home that night and I was up all night worrying, stressed, thinking like, what, like, how's this spot? How's he explained to him what he's suffering, what he's going through in the way that he did, like. And so then what I remember then after that there talk, like, the doctor in Cross Lanes then told us, he's like, look, listen, I'm only supposed to be working tonight. He was like, the doctor that was meant to be here before me, he never arrived in. I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, like, and he started explaining to us. He was like, like it's terrible the way the mental health system is. Like this is like, think of it, like I'm sitting there and I'm in the depths, but like I want to end my life. I don't want to be sitting here again, him telling me all this kind of stuff, and him telling me that there, and I'm thinking, what kind of hope have I got here? Him telling like and no wonder people like don't come up here, or they don't do this, don't do that. Like that's like a proper professional that's telling you that. Like, what hope have you got in anything else if that's what they're saying about his establishment where he's working? You know what I mean? And then in around that time as well, like I was still deep down, like, and I still can't get myself around whatever. And then I remember there was no one in the house. I tried to take my life with it, and probably by the luck of grace that it didn't work. And I remember then Harry came in, and me and Harry sat, and yet again I was crying so and I was like, I can't do this. I'm trying my best. I can't. He sat and talked to me. He's like, look, listen, we'll not put each other through any of this here again. He's like, we can't do this, each other. And I'll never forget it. Like that, like after me trying to commit suicide, like I think that was one of the toughest things I'd say that out of the whole thing. Because a couple of weeks later, then he obviously died of suicide. Like, but like that's what I kept on playing in my head. It was like the two of us sat there, like, we'll never put each other through this. We'll never do this. We'll be there, we'll have each other. But like, look, I couldn't get my head around it. But like, at the same time, I could, because I know when you're in that situation, when you're down, you're out, you have nowhere else to turn to. There's only like you think of that many times. There's only one way to turn, like, and yeah, like I said, yeah. So we sat there and I kind of told Harry what I did, what I tried to do, and he told me, look, listen, we won't go each other through this. Like he said, blah 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 blah. And I kind of found that kind of was one of the hurtful things. Then after a couple of weeks, then after obviously he passed away, like as like two of us said that we'll help each other, we'll cope with this together. But he couldn't do it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know we sat there, we talked to each other the whole time, like, but it just obviously he thought it was the only way to go, like and another thing as well, like he ended up in cross lanes himself the Wednesday before he passed away, like. So what happened was, like, you know Harry more than anybody, like he was a man, he could do anything. You know what I mean? He was my role model, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, any day of the week that if I become a quarter man that he ever was, I'd be delighted in life. You know what I mean? He accomplished so many things in his life like that only people could dream of doing, like. But he took a bad, and now he was up in Royal Park on the Sunday, took a bad, came home, and then went to bed. And once he takes to the bed, like, that was no. So like we knew then that there was something up, like, and we went down, we were in the room and we were chatting to him. We were talking to him, trying our best to kind of lift him, but like we just knew that it wasn't going to do it. He needed help, like. So we kind of then we convinced him to go up the cross lanes. But I think as well that he had in his mind that the way that they treated me, and then he like there was like my auntie, his sister was in it as well, but she was patient and like, and he was seeing the way that they treated me and they were treating her. I think he knew himself that it wasn't going to be much use to him. But anyway, so he went up on a Wednesday and he went up, same thing again, sat there the whole day, couldn't see anybody, fucking morning, noon, midnight, whatever. And my mum was up with him. And we were ringing, texting and see how things were going on. She's like, look, Shane, same thing again, no word, no one's seen him, blah, 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 blah. And then he finally got in to see someone. And like I said, you know more than anybody, basically the logic of what I'm trying to say is that they turned around to him at the end of, like, he had before I continue on, he had a letter from his doctor, from his GP, to be admitted in the cross lanes. But that letter, that's supposedly meant to say, you take him in and give him a bed. They never done that. They basically turned around and said that there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a sensitive man. You know, Harry. He wasn't a sensitive man. Like I know I said that he's a big cuddly bear, but he was far from sensitive. Like he went through a lot of things in his life that some people wouldn't understand. Well, cope, he done a lot of things, like, but they said to him, so they sent him home, gave him a couple of tablets, sent him home, and they told him that there'll be a care team out to him in the next week or two. But like, you know yourself, like I broke my leg a couple of years ago, so I did, and I went in the hospital. I wasn't told to come back in 3 or 4 weeks to see how it mended. I got an operation the following morning. You know what I mean? Like just because you can't see mental health, you can't see like as if we're broken arm, broken leg, doesn't mean that it's not there. Like, you know what I mean? For them to turn around and say, "Look, we'll send someone out to you. Just go home. You're just a sensitive man." Like I think after that conversation he had that night with them, I think his mind was made up. Like he done his best to go get help, but like the help wasn't there for him. Like, Harry would be one of them people. My dad would be one of them people that if there was 100 people standing in front of him, he would help every last one of them, no matter how big, no matter how small the problems were. He was there to help no matter what. And unfortunately, just the time when he went to go get help from the professionals, like they can't do nothing from it. So I think, like I said, yeah, I think it was one of them things that once he left that room that night and got home, I think that was in his head. That was God saying, "Right, Harry, it's your time to go." Like it was kind of terrible. Like you know, obviously, like, it's now nobody's ever suicide's never an easy way to go. Like, but it's crazy the amount of people that I know. I heard of stories who has gone across lanes, been turned away, and within a couple of days they committed suicide. Like like how are not copping on at this stage? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is Ireland, the government, whatever, not sitting down going, hold on a minute, wait a second. How is there so many people committing suicide in this country, and why is the help not there for them? Like they're getting these so-called fundings and all that there, like, but like the doctor told us that night that I was in it, that them fundings don't go towards doctors, they go towards admin staff, stuff like that there. Like don't get me wrong, I no problem with admin staff, whatever, getting a pay rise, whatever, but you need help. Like this country has gone backwards, and I mean complete backwards from any other country, like when it comes to mental health, like, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. It just seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. Like it just doesn't make sense how they can justify a doctor's wages. Like I know, like no matter which way that you look at or that, I don't think the government's going to change anything. I don't think the help's going to change unless you have the funding, like they go private. But I don't even think that the private institutes are working either. Like, to be quite honest, from stories that we've heard or we've seen, like, but like it's like yourself, Shine, Jigsaw, stuff like that there, where it's people going to talk, trying to get help. Like you're seeing a lot more places like yourselves now getting more kind of, I don't want to say support, but like you're getting a lot more help from people compared to like the bigger places like that there, like who well they're getting government funding, stuff like that there. Like I know I'm probably going off topic here, like, but if you look at anybody that's like any bit of mental health in the papers or stuff like that there, like the article shows you all the free like helplines. They don't show you the private sectors. Like they're putting all the pressure onto all the public service. Like don't, but like why are they not, all this funding they're giving out? Like why aren't they giving them the, like, this number you need to ring for this here, this the person you talk for that there, instead of putting them on the, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying nothing bad about Jigsaw or anything like that there, but why they're throwing them down the there when you have other people like that's supposedly on bigger wages, more better to do this, something like this here. Like I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like
yeah, Shane, just I just want to thank you for that. That was it's obviously it's a lot for you to kind of open up like that there. So just on behalf of Heading Again, we appreciate that. That was a lot there, and you know our thoughts are still with your family from Harry's passing, and we're all, and I can say from a personal standpoint, as a friend to a friend, I'm glad that you're still here and you're still with us, and I can still annoy you over WhatsApp every now and again, but you know, with regards funding, I think, and even just mental health in general, I think, you know, it's not just Ireland. You know, as someone, an Irishman that's based out in America, when myself and my wife were going through our problems last in December 2020, we went to call counsellors and call different people in the week building up to what we went through, and believe it or not, on a Saturday there was none of them were open. So every number we called was saying you have to ring back 9 to 5. Apart from we had to ring a suicide hotline, even though we weren't suicidal at the time, we just needed somebody to talk to, you know. So it's a global thing, you know, where we all need to do better and need to do more for in terms of mental health services.
Sorry, before we continue on now, just when you mentioned that there, the way that you're told that it's 9 to 5, I had to think that time when I had the breakdown, we rang 3 or 4 places. Harry rang 3 or 4 places to see would a doctor see me. This was when I had my breakdown, was a Saturday morning. We rang 3 or 4 places. They said there was no doctors there. That there was no one there to talk to me. There was no one there to see me. There was no one kind of basically no one there to help me. Like they said, if you want to ring back Monday, you know what I mean. And this, like we were told that I would get a phone call back from each place we rang. I'd get a phone call on Monday morning from a doctor. Out of them 4 places that we rang, I only got 1 phone call. Like mental health's not a Monday to Friday.
No, it's not 9 to 5, is it? You mentioned earlier on about breaking your leg. If you break your leg at midnight, you can get into an A&E. You know, you can get in there and then A&E somewhere. So if people need help, there should be help available, you know.
24/7, every day of the year. Like it's but like that's what I mean. Like it's crazy. Like I said there yourself, you rang someone and you're told to ring back on a Monday. You can't do it over the weekend. Like that's the exact same thing happened to me as well. Like just because, like I said to you previously, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Like
exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy when it's doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll change. As I say, so part of the work we're doing is we're advocating for better services. We're hoping that with the work we do with Jigsaw and Shine, they can be another outlet for people, you know. So I suppose moving on, obviously Harry's passing at the end of July in 2020 was, look at us being so far away, but knowing Harry the way that I knew Harry, it was devastating for me. I can't even begin to imagine what it was like for your family. But in the aftermath, and a similar situation happened when my uncle passed away by suicide in 2017. To see the love that people have for your father, you know, to see that, it's very little comfort in the grand scheme of things. But how was that for you, you know, to see the reaction or to see the amount of people that loved him, and how was that for you and your family?
Like it was like, I'm gonna laugh here, but it shouldn't be laughing. Like, but it was one of them things that I found funny at the time. Like even we were sitting talking about this in the house the other day. Like there was people coming to our house like during the wake and stuff like that. They're sitting bawling, crying their eyes out. They miss him, how much he had them, blah 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 blah. And there was more times I was looking at me, my mum, Elaine or Orla, hugging people. Oh, you're all right. You're okay. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like we're at the losing my dad. I mean, my mum lost a husband, but we were consulting other people. Like. But like it just goes to show you the effects that he had on people, like what he done for the people. Like there was a man that popped up, so he was from somewhere down the country. I can't exactly remember well, but he was a cameraman for a League of Ireland team, and he said that he drove up and he tried to get into Oriel Park, but he was late getting into Oriel Park, and he had his wee dog with him, and they said, look, you're better off trying to go down to remember your train station, something parking there, blah 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 blah. But Harry was walking around the front of Oriel before a match, as he does, deny people, wind people up, a bit of crack, like. And he overheard the conversation, like. And Harry would always park his van in around the front of Oriel, and he called your man over. He's like, "Is everything all right?" Your man was like, "Listen, I was late coming through, traffic was bad, blah blah blah." He's like, "They're trying to send me down the road, but I don't leave me dog. Someone might break the window, or someone might do something to the dog, whatever." Like, Harry goes, "Go, give me a wee second." So Harry jumped in his van, moved his van, and let your man park his van there. Like, but it was wee stories like that there that we've never heard before. But your man came to hoe up the road just to pay his respect. Like that was something like I've been in Oriel Park hundreds of times with him, done recorded matches, done what we needed to do with him, like, and stuff like that there that I never knew about. You know what I mean? And like two of us were kind of like Siamese twins around Oriel Park, like. Do you know what I mean? It was like we stories like you were hearing of people coming out of nowhere, people coming like saying, "Oh, you done this with me, like I went through this, or I sat and rang and we were talking." But it's like it was crazy, like. And then even to see at his funeral, the day of his funeral, like the gathering that was at the house, like when we opened the doors to come out of the house and we seen the whole street was full, and I was like, fair play, like everybody, whatever, during tough times, COVID, the whole lot, like, and it was still a massive crowd. But I'll never forget when we got up to town, we turned the corner, and that whole street from the church, like it was chock a block, like it was crazy, like it was that bad. Like the traffic, like the guards were trying to divert traffic just for a funeral, like. You had guards all over the kind of that area of the town, like trying to push it. I don't mean push it away, but trying to divert cars and get them go different ways. Like, and you're saying, going, I've never seen that for a funeral. Like, but it just goes to show you, like, it must that he was loved and people respected him. That got a massive turnout during a tough time of COVID. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just laughing thinking about that. It'd be the first time that Harry was probably looking down, happy to see the guards of it, wasn't it?
I know, yeah. He had a fair few run-ins with the guards in his day, to be fair enough.
Yeah. But you know, as I said earlier on, and just for people listening in, if you came on late, you know, heading the game, we found it actually the day after the news that Harry broke. Myself and Jay McKeown, Sean Hand, Stephen McKevitt, Aidan Larkin, and Stephen Todd all kind of got together on a group chat, and we had said, you know, enough's enough, because Harry's someone, as you know, and we've said all the way through this, Harry was larger than life, and he's someone that you would never think, and I'm sure even in your own house you probably didn't know till he told you, like, you would never think Harry would suffer with his mental health and stuff. And when people can keep it hidden like that, there, you know, in plain sight that they're struggling, that's why we want to make a change, and we want to have this conversation, especially in football, around mental health, and get more people to speak up about it. So just in a way, and I've said it to you privately, as I feel like I say it to you probably every couple of months in a text, but you know, Harry's legacy lives on through heading the game, and through other stuff, and I know he's still fondly remembered up in Oriel Park as well, and the club does their bit to help him. But kind of moving on, Shane, to your career, you know, after that, it was obviously a tough time for you. Going back to Oriel Park was tough, but the club, you know, had you step up. You know, you stepped up during in the aftermath of that. First under Vinny, and then with Filippo and Giuseppe. How was that half of the season? Because I know it was a tough time to be at the club in general, but was the club a help for you at that time?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I never forget the night, the first game we were invited up after the passing. Doug played Pats, and Hoban went one. Well, we went one up. Hoban scored. Hoban pointed over us, kind of the pay respects, whatever. But I said it before the game, I don't know if it's funny feeling Robbie Benson was going to score, and it was one of them things, because like Robbie, like, gentleman, absolute gent. He's such a nice man, like. But he came down, like a number of current ex Dundalk players came down, and Bob he draped his jersey over the coffin, like. So we buried that with him, but like that went into the grave with him, like Robbie's jersey, like. And I just had a funny feeling that night, like, yeah, look, this isn't going to go the way that we wanted to go, like, you know what I mean? But no, out of everybody that obviously had a kind of damp the knife for us, like, I was glad to see it was Robbie, like.
Yeah,
I love Robbie, like, he's a gent. Anytime I see him, he's chatting to me the whole lot, like. And even after the game, he put like a nice wee tribute to him on RTE, like. But like, I didn't record. Obviously, like, I stepped up, like you said, I stepped up to the plate, and I started recording the games and helping out with kind of analysis and stuff like that there, like. And I didn't record the game, like. And then Vinny caught me later that night, and he was like, "Look, listen, we have a friendly tomorrow behind closed doors against Linfield." He was like, "Will you come up and record the game for me?" I was like, "Look, Vinny, I don't know if I'm ready for that." Like, and he goes, "Shane, look, listen." He's like, "It's up to yourself, but I think this is a great chance for you. There's nobody going to be around. You'd be up there, just with the camera doing what you need to do." He goes, "Look, my personal opinion, I think that if you don't go back doing it, you'll never go back doing it. Like, he's like, this is what your dad wanted you. He wants you to be involved in Oriel Park. He wants you to be working beside me. He wants you to be working beside whoever was up involved the club. Like, so I was like, look, right. So I went up, and it was kind of strange walking up to the gantry on my own and trying to set everything up by myself. I've done it plenty of times, but normally, you know yourself, if you have somebody beside you, it's different when you're setting up stuff and trying to put up camera equipment and set up your equipment and that. Like, you have someone beside you, be able to go, no, you're doing that wrong or not. But like, I literally sat that day and I literally walked in, and I mean, walked in, or went up, started walking to the gantry. I mean, there was hundreds of flashbacks, memories, and all. Took me back so they like, and I kind of did get a bit emotional, to be fair. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it was kind of one of them things I was kind of going, am I right doing this type of thing? Like, but then I said, the more I thought about it, I was like, look, listen, this is something that he wanted. He always wanted to be part of Dundalk FC. Like, I was like, I want to do it for myself, but I also want to do it for him. Like, I know that he'll be down, giving out to me, cursing me, and say, look, I finally got your opportunity. Will you take it? Like, so I went up that night, and I was kind of glad that I did it. And when I came home, I was kind of, it was like a weight left on my shoulders. I'm kind of going, if I didn't go back to it that night, would I've gone back and done the type of thing? Like, maybe Vinny was right that if I hadn't gone back and done it, like, but we obviously went on a wee European adventure as well. Like, in the cup, we obviously because it wasn't two legs. We only got to play one, and we were in Hungary, so we were with Budapest. And I was sitting in the room, and knowing we go away, I'd obviously share a room with Harry. But it was strange. It was strange not having him there beside me. Normally, as soon as we'd arrive into the hotel, I'd be like, right, come on, throw this gear there. We're going for a walk around. We'll ring your mom and we'll see if the crack is. Blah 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 blah. It was just strange, you know what I mean? But like, the boys are unbelievable. Me sort of well, like, took me for walks and stuff like that. There, like, just because, like, to be honest, like, it did get me a wee bit, like, saying, like, I should be here with him, like. And then obviously, then after that night, we were sitting in the dressing room, and that's when Vinny broke the news to us that he was gone, like. And then I was kind of sitting going, what's next for me, like, because obviously how close Harry and Vinny was, and I was close to Vinny, like. I was like, what's gonna happen to me now? Like, I was like, what happens if someone comes in next and they don't need me or don't want me to bring in someone else? But then Rennie and Gillo took the game against Sligo then that weekend, and I was sitting with them in Oriel then when we arrived home. I was like, do you want me? Like, yeah, don't be silly. Of course you want you, like. But so, like, that was grand, so that 100%. And then we had Filippo and Giuseppe come in, and then I was like, oh, here we go again. Where do I stand here? So I got a phone call asking up to Oriel to meet them, to introduce myself to them, and it was just from that day, like, that two boys were unbelievable. Like, they made me feel really part of what they want to do in Oriel, like. And sorry, and we were sitting there talking, and anyway, like, I got very friendly to the boys, and I started recording training sessions from that as well. Like, whenever I wasn't working, I started recording the training session when they needed stuff done and that, like that there. But it was not long after Harry died, I had a conversation with a couple of people in the club, and they said there was a possibility of a full-time job there for me. So obviously, being who I was and the connections that there was and what I went through, like, obviously after Harry passed away, like, I like, even today, like, I'm like, you still miss him and all like that. But I was pretty down, like, that, like, obviously he was gone, and I felt that this was something that was bring me back up. That something was going to get me excited. It was making me hungry again. I was like, this is something that this is my chance to full time into football, like. So I said, look, listen, it's not going to be now because we're halfway through the season. Because it's not going to be now. Maybe more towards next season when the new budget's blah 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 blah. Which I understand, like, 100%. I knew that. I knew that I wasn't going to walk into like a full time job halfway through the season when the budget was already given allocated to different places, like. So that was grand. And then it was after the cup final, I found out then Martin was stepping aside, and then there was someone else coming in. So I was like, because that's what I would have been, my point of contact would have been always Martin, like, and Martin, like, I sat with Martin, discussed things with him, like, he was saying to me, look, this is what possibly, this is what you could do, this is what could happen, blah 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 blah. So I just kind of, after that day, I was back to like, right, Martin's gone now, where does that leave me now? Like, there's like, I was said there was a possibility of a full-time job here. So then my Jilton came in, and he was sitting, I was like, right, what's going to happen here? Or am I staying with the club? Am I going permanent? Am I going full time? Or am I just going back just on match days whenever they need me during training? That. So I had a phone call with Jim, and we sat and we had a phone call. We sat and talked about what the plans were, what I was told I'd be doing within the club, and what my role now was going to be. And I was like, look, Jim, I was like, if this happened, I didn't know. I'm leaving my full-time job for this year if you want me here for the start of the pre-season. Like, and he's like, no, Shane, look, as far as I'm concerned, that job is yours. No doubt about it, it's yours. So I was like, great, buzzing, this is brilliant. Like, and so then I handed my notice in my job at the time. Like, so I was kind of saying, right, this is brilliant, I can't wait. So I went up, and it was the first couple of days of pre-season, before the pre-season started, sorry. And we had a conversation, me and Jim. This is on a Wednesday. We had a conversation, and basically the conversation was going to do my role. He was like, this is what we club wants you to do. This is how it's going to benefit us as well as you and the first team, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, perfect, happy days. He goes, look, listen, there was a lot of kind of talk and going through for that there as well. Like, but just kind of just ironing out what my role was going to be in the club. Like, he goes, look, listen, I will phone you either tomorrow or Friday. We put pen to paper. He goes, I just want to build up your contract. I was like, buzzing, happy days. So I went home, and obviously, as you do, you're delighted, told the family that this is finally happening, that you're finally getting this massive step in your career, what you want to build towards. And the next day I got a phone call asking him up to Royal Park. So I was like, right, this is it. I'm come to sign my contract. Delighted. And then Jim turned around and he's like, look, Shane, I don't think that's going to work out. I was like, sorry. He's like, yeah, no, I don't think it's going to happen. So what do you mean? He's like, I just had a wee think about it. I don't think that this is for you. Like, and I was like, well, we had a conversation. Like you told me this is mine. Go ahead, leave my full-time job because I'm coming in full-time with the dog. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I know. And I was like, what happens here? And he goes, oh, you tell me. I said, what do you mean? I tell you. I goes, you're the one after making me like leave my full-time job because you had a full-time job, and now you're asking me what's now. Like, it's like, yeah, look, there's levels to this game. So there is, like, we had those kind of a conversation of fucking back and forth, kind of fuck you, fuck this, and all that there. Like, and he turned around and he's like, look, there's levels to this game. So there is. He's like, we're an elite European club. He was like, I think that if we bring you in, it's kind of a step down from what we previously had. And I was like, look, I'm after been working with the club since 2012. Like, I'm after kind of going up the whole way to the ladder, won league medals, involved in European competitions, 2 Europa League group stages. I was like, what do you mean that I haven't got the experience or haven't got what needs to be done here? Like, and he was like, look, I'll try and figure something out for you, and I'll get back to you. So I was in the worst of form. That put me down, massive spiral. So it did. Mental health crashed again. So it did. And I was like, look, like, this is the last I need. It's like, it's bad enough not to lose my father. I don't need this mess. And like, don't get me wrong, I know it's not nice no matter what time of the year it is, but especially after it is my dad. Like, and I met him again, and he was like, how about you can still record the first team games, and then we can take from there and we can progress through that there. And I was like, yeah, look, listen, fine. I goes, but like, which way is that going to work out for me? I was like, but that's still not a full-time job. Like, and then he kind of, right, look, we'll have another conversation again. So I met him, then had another conversation, and it just kept on going backwards. When I felt like it was getting somewhere, it was like one step forward, 2 steps backwards type of thing. And it was just an absolute disaster. But like, being the nice, helpful chap that and I am like, I was still recording the training sessions for Filippo as well, like, and still sending it to him, like giving him what he needed and whatever. And I called Filippo after one of the after it was like that was a Friday, and it was like the last training session there, the first friendly that weekend. And I turned around to him and I was like, look, if you can like speak to you for a second. He's like, yeah. He goes, look, I feel like the club's taking the mick out of me here. I was like, I was promised this, that, the other, sun, moon, stars, whatever you want to name it. Like, he's like, look, Shane, I get you sorted. So we achieved us out with Magilton, and just the conversation never went anywhere. It was like banging my head against the wall. I goes, look, fair enough. I goes, I'm leaving today, and I won't step up back in here until you offer me something or there's a contract on the table. And Filippo was like, Shane, we began the weekend. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm not going to take it for an agent. Like, I was like, what do you expect me to do? Like, I was like, if I keep continuing on doing what you want me to do and be stupid about it, like I'm not going to get anywhere. So the game was up on a Saturday, but it was called off because of the heavy snow. But the game went ahead to Sunday. Then got a phone call. Where are you? We need you to record again. I was like, I'm not coming up. I told you, I'm not coming up until there's something. I was like, look, come up and we'll get you sorted. And I was like, no, I'm not falling for it. Not falling for it. He's like, look, listen, Shane, I'll do my best. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying nothing bad about Filippo or that. Like, Filippo was an absolute gem. So he was unbelievable. Him and Giuseppe trying to get something sorted for me. But I just felt like that Magilton was kind of just push me backwards, and that he didn't want to involve in the club. Like, and on the Monday, Filippo rang me again, and he was like, "Help me run up." Yes, I told you the situation. I told you before that you rang me. I was like, I'm not going up until there's something there for me. Like, my head was being drove silly. Like, I mean, it was bad. Like, I was in the worst of form. Like, I was terrible. Like, and then he was like, look, listen, I'll get you sorted. Give me a couple of days. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Filippo was ringing me. He's like, oh, we nearly have something sorted for you. So we're getting here, we're getting there. I was like, happy days. And then on the Wednesday was the last day I heard from Filippo then for that day. I never heard nothing. And then it was the Friday. I got a phone call from Bill. Bill rang me. He's like, Shane, I'm hearing an awful lot of third story reports of you not being around the club. He's like, what's going on? Explained everything to him. He's like, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Filippo wants you up there, so he does. He wants you there permanent for trainings, matches, the whole lot. He's like, we'll get you sorted. I was like, look, Bill, I was like, I've been told that much crap the last couple of months. I don't know what to believe. And he's like, no, I'll get you sorted. He's like, you'll have a phone call in the next couple of days from either Filippo or Jim. You'll be sorted. So I was kind of going, look, I don't know what to believe. I said this, like, I wasn't sure. He turned around to me, he's like, Shane, I'm a man of my word. He was like, when I die, people say he was a man of his word, blah, 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 blah. That was like the middle of February. I'm still waiting for that phone call back to say that you're sorted, like. You know what I mean? For that to come from a man of his word, like. And then 2 weeks, when I went near Oriel Park, I fell out of love with football. I stopped playing myself. I just lost the hunger of it, and like it just put me down, really down, like, and I like literally done my head in. Like, my family knew how I was down, and I just couldn't cope with it. And then it was 2 weeks later, then I got chatting to Tiernan Lynch, the Larne manager. It was a couple of emails back and forth, so there was between me and him, and he's like, Shane, I'm very eager to get you up, have a look around the ground, have a look at the boys, what for the day, like, and we'll sit and chat, like. So I went up, like, then the start of February, or start of March. Went up, watched the boys training, the whole lot, got shown around the ground, and was told their plans and what they're aspiring to become, and this, and that, and the other. I just fell in love with the place. I just fell in love with it, like I told you that many times. I said it here, like, I felt like one of the things that was just a big family place, like. From the get-go, everybody was on believe me, players, staff, even some of the supporters, like that. Like, I'd be chanting, they're all 100%. Like, and like, it's funny, like, being told that I haven't got the experience or I haven't got the knowledge or whatever from gym, like, and they go up there and they were delighted to get me on board, like, you know what I mean? They were letting me do what I wanted to do. And like even tonight, last night, I was doing my reports for Linfield on Friday night. Like, I haven't looked, like, I'm there nearly a year now, and I haven't looked back once. I feel like it was probably the best decision that I've made in football wise anyway. Like I could have probably gone somewhere in the League of Ireland if I could have, like, for the connections that I had from I built with Harry, like, but I felt at the time that it was one of them things that this is Harry's son Shane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas up there, this is Shane. This is our analysis. This what he's here. You know what I mean? I built a reputation up there. Like I had one or two calls from teams up there when obviously they heard that what I was doing and stuff like that there. But I love Larne. The boys have been unbelievable me. Like, I've no reason to say a bad word about Amy up there. Everybody's been fantastic to me since I went up there. It's one of them things that, like I said, yeah, I think it's the best decision I made in football and wise. Everybody's been supporting me. I haven't looked back once, like.
Yeah, well, I think I remember during that kind of period where you were in limbo, me and you were texting back a lot, and I think, look, it's plain to see that since you've made that move to Larne, it's kind of rejuvenated your love for the game, hasn't it? You know, and
Well, that's what it is. Like you know yourself that, like, it's very easy to fall out with love, especially when you're down and out. Like, you feel like you're down and out. You just feel like there's no rekindling that spark. You know what I mean? But once I got involved with the boys up there, like, it got me excited. It got me the hunger was there. Like, it was just something that I thrive on. Like, being opposition that is just for a team like that there. It's great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know, like, a couple of years ago, people thought that the Northern Ireland Premier Division wasn't as strong as what the League of Ireland was. Obviously, through the Atlantic Cup and stuff like that there. Like, but see, like, now, like, see, like, the players that they're recruiting and the teams, there's a lot more teams going full time. It's got really, really strong, and, like, it's good. It's great to see that you have really competitive leagues both north and south of Ireland. Like,
yeah, it's great, and as I say, I think even Harry looking down, he'd probably have pushed you to make this decision too, because he wouldn't want you to be known as Harry Sunshine. Like, he wants all yourself, Orla and Elaine, all to kind of carve out careers for yourselves, doesn't he, and make a name for yourselves. So I think, you know, looking at you over the past 12 months or whatever, to see that change in you has been phenomenal, and to see you enjoying what you're doing up there is great. But look, I suppose, Shane, we've been on here for ages, and you've been very, very gracious with your time, and I think everybody listening is going to get something out of this conversation. But as we kind of wind down now, going back to look at your mental health, and you mentioned a little bit earlier that you still have down days. So one of my last questions is kind of, if you have a message for anybody listening that feels like that, you know, that has these up and down days, is there anything now, you know, in the aftermath of Harry's passing, and now that you're more open about your own mental health struggles, is there any advice you'd give to somebody maybe that is in an area, or in a point of where you were previously, you know, or they're maybe afraid to speak up? Is there any message you give for anybody?
yeah, no, like, I think it's one of them things that, like, if you're feeling down, like, it's not like it's one of them things. Everybody has down days. Like, you just need to just think of the bigger picture. Try and, like, think of goals, set yourself goals, set a mindset. But look, listen, it's one of them things that, like, it's a problem half if you talk to someone. You talk to someone, like, I've been there, you've been there as well. A lot of people has been there. If you leave it to sit, it's just going to turn into a snowball effect. It's going to make you worse. But I found talking to people, talking to yourself, my friends, my girlfriend, especially my girlfriend, like Shannon, she's been incredible. Like, that it doesn't feel as bad. Like, I know that it might seem like a massive problem to you, like, but someone else, it mightn't be, and they'll be able to talk to you, help you through what you're going through. Like, just want to say that, like, talk about it. There's everybody's there, all ears are open. If you tell someone that you need to talk, you need help, like, they will sit and listen. And for anybody that, like, wants to obviously keep an eye on their friends, the family, the partners, like, ask them are okay, and, like, if they say, yeah, I'm grand or whatever, ask again, because more than likely, like we said this already, when you say the second time, sometimes people come out and then they will say, look, listen, this here or that there, I'm having problems here, I'm having problems, this my head, this and that. So just talk about it. Keep everybody close to each other. Like, everybody's obviously got that one person that they can openly talk to, but that's the problem. We need a lot more. We need a lot more people to be able to talk to bigger groups. A lot more people. Like I said, I was embarrassed at the start, but after happened to my dad, what happened to me, I'm open book. I sit and talk to anybody about it. I sat and talked to a lot of people about it. I got messages. Sure, used to be the same, obviously, and it feels great that like that like something like this here, even if it helps one person, you know what I mean? It's doing good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose, Shane, just look at I have one last question, but before I go on to that, just like thanks to yourself, thanks to all the Taaffe family for all the support that you've given and the encouragement you've given for heading the game. And just I hope that every time you see us posting anything, as long as it's not a video with my mug on it, but anytime you see us posting that it just brings back the positive of what Harry done in his life to help people, you know, because I feel like what we're doing is an extension of that, you know. We're helping people. It's, as I told you earlier, we found it kind of in his memory. So just know that he's still having an impact today. And just the final question, we always like to end on a positive note. So in your years in football, whether it be with Larne, whether it be with Dundalk, whether it be with Woodview, or playing for the Shamrocks or Redeemer, what's your biggest highlight in football? And I hope that's not been in the injury room with me. The Kennedy Cup.
No, like obviously, like what I went through with football, like don't get me wrong, like playing Kennedy Cup, when you look back some of the programs, seeing the players you played against and stuff like that, there it's been incredible. But obviously, they've been involved in, like, not many people can say that they're involved in like two Europa League group stages campaigns. Like, I met incredible people through the times, like made great contacts. Like obviously, it's what I went through. No, I'm not just saying because he's not here with us, but it's all of what you've mentioned. I went through me that with football. Like, it's great going through them, but get to go through like with not only my dad but my best friend. You know what I mean? It just tops off everything. You know what I mean? So like obviously all them events that we went through, unbelievable, best experience ever. Words can't describe how close I'll always cherish them memories. Like.
Yeah, it's amazing that you're able to have those memories, you know, of the good days with Dundalk. But Shane, we really appreciate your time. As I say, I think people are going to get something out of this conversation, and I think, as you say, it's going to help somebody. I think somebody listening is going to appreciate what you've said. They're going to understand where you're coming from, and I have no doubt it's going to help someone. So look, Shane, I think we're on nearly an hour and a half now. So thanks a million. As I say, I just really appreciate your time and be willing to be open with us.
No, look, thank you. Look, I say to you the whole time, I'm not just saying it because I get on with all this, but from myself, my family, we appreciate everything that you have done, not even just for us, but for your awareness and getting the mental health out there. Like, it's incredible to see like that. Like, you're a massive credit to yourselves and to even to the community. Like, that is just incredible that what you have done in a short period of time. Like, and like I said, yeah, you know, I'm always there to give you a dig out or help out as best I can. Like, and I hope that this, like I said earlier on, it's not going to be something for a year or two. It's something that we're going to be able to build up. Like I said, we really appreciate everything, especially because you're carrying Harry's name forward. Like, it's unbelievable. Fair play.
Appreciate that, Shane. Thanks a million. Thanks for coming on, pal.
No problem, brother. No worries at all.
Thanks a million.